A popular complaint within the wrestling industry is how WWE has an old roster and are not creating young stars. This is due to WWE relying on former part-time talent to fill their biggest shows constantly. WWE recently transformed NXT into NXT 2.0, which is focusing on creating younger stars under the age of 30, some of which we are sure will be on the main roster at some stage in 2022. However, for this video, we will focus on the 10 youngest WWE talent currently have on the main roster as of February 2022. For this video we have identified WWE's youngest stars on Raw and SmackDown. Some people might be shocked to hear that all of these talents are currently under 30 years old. Be sure to let us know in the comments below if you were shocked to see any of these stars on this list. Our 10th youngest WWE star on this list is Reginald, aka Reggie. Reggie was born on March 13, 1993. Reggie's WWE career started in January of 2020 when he signed his first WWE contract, and would eventually make his debut on a December 2020 episode of SmackDown. Reggie's first role in WWE was to be the on-screen sommelier for Carmella. While in this role, Carmella used Reggie in her feud with Sasha Banks to try help her win the SmackDown Women's title. 6 weeks after his debut, Reggie made his in-ring debut on an episode of SmackDown against Sasha Banks in an entertaining match. Reggie impressed by using his aerobatics that he used in the circus and implementing them into wrestling moves. Following this feud, Carmella fired Reggie as her sommelier. Reggie would then get rejected by Sasha Banks before aligning himself with Nia Jax and Shayna. In spring of 2020, Reginald was dumped again. Following this, Reginald trimmed his name to Reggie and entered the 24/7 title picture. Reggie spent the remainder of 2021 on the Raw brand as 24/7 champion before losing it. Currently he has a partnership with Dana Brooke where he assists her in keeping the title. The 9th youngest star on the WWE roster is a part of both Raw and SmackDown as an on-screen authority figure. Her name is Sonya Deville, and she was born on September 24, 1993. The WWE Universe was first introduced to Sonya in the summer of 2015, as she was casted to be on WWE Tough Enough under her real name Daria. Despite not winning, she was still hired and sent to NXT. In November 2017, Sonya along with fellow Tough Enough castmate Mandy Rose joined Paige on Raw under the name Absolution. Following Paige's retirement a few months later, Mandy and Sonya remained a team for the next 2 years called Fire and Desire. The pair split up and feuded with each other in summer of 2020. After being fired in storyline, Sonya returned early in 2021 as an authority figure with Adam Pearce, which she has continued doing since. We expect more in-ring opportunities and success to come her way soon. The 8th youngest star on the main roster is 7'3" star Omos, who was born on the 16th of May 1994. Omos signed with WWE in January 2019. After learning how to wrestle in NXT for the next 18 months, the Giant debuted on TV in June 2020 as a part of a ninja group, as he was simply called the Giant Ninja. This gimmick was quickly dropped and Omos then became the main bodyguard for Shane McMahon's Raw Underground. However, this concept was soon dropped, which led to Omos becoming AJ Styles' bodyguard in October 2020. Omos made his in-ring debut at WrestleMania 37 by defeating New Day with AJ Styles to win the Raw Tag Team titles. The pair would hold the titles until SummerSlam, when they lost to Randy Orton and Riddle. After a rough few months with AJ, the pair split up in December of 2021. Since then Omos has gone solo, and had a giant presence on Raw. WWE's 7th youngest superstar on the main roster is Liv Morgan. Liv was born on June 8, 1994. Some people may be shocked to hear Liv is this young, since she debuted in NXT in early 2015. Liv remained a regular part of NXT, where she usually traded wins with her opponents. In November 2017, Liv Morgan along with Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott made their SmackDown debut as a group and named themselves the Riott Squad. As a group they commonly competed in 6 women tag matches on SmackDown and Raw, with Liv not receiving much of a push during this time. The trio remained a group until April 2019, when Liv was drafted to SmackDown. After a tough year which only saw Liv wrestle once on SmackDown in the summer against Charlotte Flair, she was traded back to Raw and returned in the final segment of the decade by stopping the Lana and Bobby Lashley wedding. Liv would spend the start of 2020 feuding with Lana and Ruby Riott. In spring, Liv won her first WrestleMania match against Natalya, and had good matches against Charlotte and Asuka. Following this she reunited with Ruby Riott until spring 2021. After Ruby got released, Liv went solo and got drafted back to SmackDown, where she commonly wrestled Carmella and Zelina Vega. Liv then got drafted back to Raw and entered her highest profile feud of her career against Becky Lynch. After winning a number 1 contender match, Liv got her Raw Women's title shot on the December 6, 2021 edition of Raw in the main event against Becky Lynch. Despite a good performance, Liv Morgan lost. Liv gained a rematch at the Day 1 pay-per-view, but lost again in an even better match. Since then Liv has remained in the title picture and was in the Royal Rumble match for the second longest. In her time with WWE, Liv Morgan has gained the fan support, the in-ring skills and the ability to become a champion, which should guide her to becoming a top star for WWE in the future, which we are sure will happen very soon. Sixth on our list is one of the newest additions to WWE's women's locker room, and her name is Aaliyah. As Aaliyah was born on November 23, 1994. Despite being the second youngest female on the main roster, Aaliyah has actually been in WWE since March 2015. Aaliyah ended up having the longest NXT career for any female ever. During her 6 years in NXT, Aaliyah's main role was to put other talent over, ranging from Asuka, Carmella, Peyton Royce, Ember Moon, Lacey Evans, Io Shirai, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, to name a few. Aaliyah's NXT run is most remembered for her time being managed by Robert Stone. In autumn of 2021, Aaliyah was finally moved to the main roster as she was drafted to SmackDown. Since moving to SmackDown, Aaliyah has only had 3 matches in which she defeated Natalya every single time, including her second match that won in 3.17 seconds, which is considered a WWE record for the fastest win ever. Let's just hope going forward Aaliyah is given longer matches than 3.17 seconds. We are now into our top 5, as WWE's 5th youngest star is Humberto, who was born on October 20, 1995. We were first introduced to Humberto in NXT in 2018 as he put over other talent including Johnny Gargano. A few weeks into 2019, Humberto made his debut on the 205 Live brand. During his time on 205 Live, Humberto received 2 title shots on pay-per-view, with the first being at Elimination Chamber and the second being Clash of Champions. Despite never winning the Cruiserweight title during his time on 205 Live, Humberto impressed enough where he got drafted to Raw in October 2019. WWE gave Humberto a huge opportunity from the beginning, as his debut was against Universal Champion Seth Rollins. Humberto would spend the remainder of 2019 being featured in matches with AJ Styles and Randy Orton on Raw. Following this, Humberto had an unsuccessful feud with Andrade over the US title, and would then feud with his real-life cousin Angel Garza. After 18 months of not being a regular on Raw, WWE decided to draft him to SmackDown, turn him heel and team him with Angel Garza, where the team has started to find some success. Fourth on our list is actually only 8 days older, and his name is Mansoor, and he was born on October 28, 1995. Mansoor is best known for being WWE's Saudi Arabian superstar, as he has regularly given a big match on those Saudi Arabia shows. Mansoor was signed to WWE in 2018, during WWE's first ever show in Saudi Arabia. Following this, he was sent to NXT. During this time, Mansoor also did voice-over for 2 WWE 2K video games. In 2019, WWE started using Mansoor on their Saudi Arabia events, as he won a 51-man battle royal on his debut, then defeated Cesaro on WWE's second trip to Saudi Arabia in 2019, and then defeated Dolph Ziggler in 2020. At the end of 2019, Mansoor got moved to 205 Live, and had regular appearances on WWE Main Event. During this time, Mansoor went on a 49-0 winning streak. WWE ended this win streak on Mansoor's Raw debut in May 2021 as he lost to Sheamus via DQ. Following this loss, Mansoor started joint forces with Mustafa Ali, however the pair split, and had a match in Saudi Arabia in October 2021. Since then, Mansoor got drafted to SmackDown and has struggled since. If Saudi Arabia pay-per-views remain a thing, we are sure Mansoor will continue to receive his traditional push every 6 months. So he will be fine. WWE's youngest female on the main roster is third on our list, and her name is Rhea Ripley. Rhea was born in Australia on October 11, 1996. Rhea made her WWE debut in 2017 in the Mae Young Classic tournament, where she got knocked out in the second round by Dakota Kai. 1 year later, in 2018, Rhea competed again, but got knocked out by Io Shirai in the semi-finals. Following this, Rhea moved to the United Kingdom as she joined the NXT UK brand, as she became the first person to win the NXT UK Women's Championship in 2018. After dropping the title to Toni Storm in 2019, Rhea moved to America and joined NXT. Rhea gained momentum quick by winning a War Games match, which she captained, and winning the NXT Women's title to end 2019. Rhea would become the first NXT talent to compete at WrestleMania, as she was challenged by Royal Rumble winner Charlotte Flair. Rhea ended up losing this match at WrestleMania 36. In 2021, Rhea became runner-up in the Royal Rumble, but would end up defeating Asuka for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 37. Rhea held this title until Money in the Bank, when she was defeated by Charlotte yet again. Rhea spent the final half of 2021 as a tag team champion with Nikki Cross. The tag team split in early 2022 after Nikki turned on Rhea. If handled right, we are positive that Rhea Ripley will become one of the faces of WWE's women's division for many years to come. WWE's second youngest star actually made their first WWE appearance 17 years ago in 2005. It's Rey Mysterio's son Dominic, who was born on the 5th of April 1997. Dominic Mysterio is possibly best known for his involvement in the Rey Mysterio vs. Eddie Guerrero feud in 2005, which saw a custody of Dominic match at SummerSlam 2005. 14 years later, Dominic returned to WWE as he became a character in his father's storyline with Samoa Joe, and then was later attacked in 2019 by Brock Lesnar. In 2020, Dominic joined his father in a storyline with Seth Rollins and Murphy, which eventually led to Dominic making his WWE debut at SummerSlam 2020 against Seth Rollins. Despite losing, Dominic impressed in his debut. Since then, Dominic has spent his WWE career as a tag partner to his father Rey. The team eventually won the SmackDown Tag Team titles at the Backlash pay-per-view in 2021. Since losing the titles, the two have remained a team. It will be interesting to see if Dominic can carry Rey Mysterio's legacy and possibly adopt the mask in the future. WWE's youngest star on the main roster is Austin Theory. Theory was born on the 2nd of August 1997. Since signing with WWE in August of 2019, Austin Theory's WWE career has been a unique one. Austin debuted in NXT on Christmas Day 2019 in a losing effort to Roderick Strong. 3 months later, WWE decided to call Austin Theory up to the main roster in March 2020 as Andrade replacement to team with Angel Garza against the Street Profits at WrestleMania 36. After Zelina Vega, Andrade and Garza kicked Austin Theory out of the group, he joined Seth Rollins for a brief time. However, this angle was quickly dropped and he was sent back to NXT in August 2020. 3 months after returning to NXT, Austin Theory along with Indy Hartwell joined Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae to become a group called The Way. For the next year, Theory became a comedy act whose role was to help Johnny Gargano win his matches. Theory said goodbye to NXT on the 2.0 premiere and got drafted to Raw in October 2021. Since moving to Raw, Austin has developed a gimmick where he takes a selfie with defeated opponents. After Survivor Series, after stealing his egg, Austin got entered into a storyline with Vince McMahon as his mentor. With a mentor like Vince McMahon, we are sure the future will be bright for Austin Theory, and we will probably see a world championship on him someday. And that's our list. Just a reminder, this is WWE's youngest stars as of the start of February 2022. We are sure some of the 2.0 NXT talents like Braun Breaker, Cora Jade, Carmelo Hayes, Pete Dunne will be on here soon. If you enjoyed our video, please give it a like and comment below any video ideas you would like to see. You can go check out our last video which focused on Sasha Banks' top 10 greatest matches. And please go follow us on Twitter where we talk all things WWE. Thanks for watching and hopefully see you again soon.